Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium on the campus of New Bedford High School, where this evening the New Bedford Cable Network is proud to present boys high school volleyball action. It's the homestanding New Bedford Whalers taking on their arch rival, the Durfee Hilltoppers. Joe Cabral and Pete Braley with you for boys volleyball action from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium. Pete, good matchup here today. New Bedford at 3-2 on the young season, and Durfee at 2-3.
Yes, Joe, this is the first conference game for both teams so far this season. The Whalers come into the game, as you said, 3-2. They're coming off a straight set win over Randolph last night right here at New Bedford High. New Bedford had 21 aces in that match. They won that 25-7, 25-14, and 25-10. Nick Rosa and Jensen Farnworth had 6 kills each, while Amir Salatavares and DaCosta Teixeira added 5 apiece. Head coach Ben Caterli likes what he has seen so far from his young team. They were hit hard by graduation last year, but he feels they have a lot more depth this year, and he can actually go deeper into his bench. For Durfee, they come into tonight 2-3. Their wins came over Dighton, Rehoboth, and Barnstable, while they lost to North Quincy, Greater New Bedford, Voltech, and Quincy. So as you said, I think they always geared up a little more for their rival, and that's what we have tonight. The Whalers in white against Durfee in their red and black.
Yeah, so we always see the red, and sometimes we've done a few different sports where it was red on red for whatever reason, and not tonight. So it looks like we have the colors right. New Bedford will be in their home white with red numerals, and Durfee will be in their road red with black numerals and black and white trim.
Players to keep an eye on tonight for New Bedford. It all starts with Carter Barboza. He's a junior setter and captain. Barboza emerged as a standout setter last year. He had more than 600 assists. Also, Salatavares, a sophomore, has improved from last year, and Coach Caterli says he made a huge leap in the offseason, going from possibly making the varsity to being one of their main players.
Yeah, some outstanding work here by Ben Caterli since he's been their head coach. Really getting the program back on track here. And New Bedford at 3-2, hoping to improve to 4-2 and pick up their first win in the conference. No longer the Big Three conference, of course, Pete, which we had for so many years.
Right. Southeast Conference now.
Southeast Conference now, and of course that conference used to be New Bedford, Durfee, and Brockton. And it was an interesting note that yesterday we heard Jermaine Wiggins will be the new head coach of the Brockton Boxers, their football team. So Wiggins, of course, was a Patriot, won a Super Bowl with the Pats back in 2001, and now he's going to be the head coach at Brockton High School.
Coach Ben Caterli has grabbed the microphone to introduce players. And we'll get the starting lineups first for the Durfee Hilltoppers.
Number 55, junior libero, Linus Da Silva.
Linus Da Silva.
Number 3, junior opposite, Danny Patsusic. Number 1, junior middle blocker, Cameron DeMello.
Cameron DeMello, the junior blocker.
Number 13, junior outside hitter,
Christopher Milford.
Number 10, senior outside, Abalone Lima.
Abalone Lima.
Number 3, senior setter, Jack Goffin.
Senior center, Jack Goffin.
Number 5, senior middle blocker,
Anthony Granum, another senior. And they're coached by Brendan Kelly. And now for the New Bedford Whalers. We'll get the starting lineup.
For your starters, we have 2023 New Bedford Whalers.
Psyching up the crowd a bit. Devin Centeo. Number 13, Amir Saleh Tavares, a sophomore. Number 15 is sophomore Davon Shields. Number 9 is a junior Jensen Farnworth. Connor Silva.
DaCosta Texera.
And that is Dilson DaCosta Texera. And we mentioned Carter Barboza, the junior. And now we'll have our national anthem.
Early start here at New Bedford High School this evening, 5:30 start. Here's our national anthem. Our national anthem from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium as we get ready for the start of today's match. New Bedford 3-2 on the season, Durfee 2-3.
We have a small crowd on hand for this 5:30 start.
Yeah, a little bit of an earlier start than normal. Normally 6:30 is the start time, so starting an hour earlier really does reduce the crowd quite a bit, as many of the fans who would be here are still on their commute home.
See the officials who did work the JV game that was played earlier. A lot of times, I know, especially basketball, you'll see one squad of officials for the JV, then a fresh crew comes in for basketball, but these two have seen action already today.
Yes, not as many volleyball officials available, so because of that, they'll do both sports and pick up a little bit of an extra bit on their paycheck.
New Bedford actually had a game, I think it was this week, maybe lacrosse, that was postponed because of a lack of officials, something that I fear we're going to be seeing more of in the next year or so.
Yes, we've noticed that, and I've heard from some friends who are officials in football even, which once upon a time there was no lack of those looking to officiate football, that there's a real demand. Here's Carter Barboza serving for New Bedford here to start it off. Ball on the outside.
Point to Durfee.
Point to Durfee. New Bedford, I believe, into the net. For the Hilltoppers, it'll be number 3, Jack Garvin, to the service line.
Now in the JV game, there was a ball that went up into the rafters. And when it hit the rafters and changed direction, oh, nice kill.
On the outside, the hammer there that time from Amir Salih Tavares. We'll call his name quite a bit here
probably
this evening.
Yeah, so there was a ball that went up into the rafters, and the ref blew that one dead right away. So
yeah, if it hits on your side, you hit it on your side, you can play the ball. But if it goes over the net and hits the supports or the speakers that are up top, then it is a dead ball and a point to your opponent.
So that was a service error by Ayala.
So it's 2-1 Durfee. Serving for the Hilltoppers, Christopher Milfort. Durfee playing it over safely, and it'll work there. So Hilltoppers, that time it was number 5, Anthony Granum, to be credited with a kill. Even though it's a tip, it still counts as a kill. You put a point away.
He just put that in between the lines.
There's a ball that's hammered well out by Milford. So point to New Bedford, 3-2 Durfee. To the service line for New Bedford, the libero, Connor Silva. On the outside, and some major hops there from Anthony Granum.
His second kill, and he got a lot on that one.
And not a tall player at all, but he was way up there and had, as Pete mentioned, a lot on that spike.
Oh, that's going to go out.
Point to New Bedford.
I
4-3 early on.
I believe that is Elias De Silva who's wearing the libero, the 55. We have him as number 15 on our roster, but
Since he has the libero shirt on, his number's changed. Middle of the floor, a tip there. Durfee keeps it alive. That's four strikes there, and that's the reason that there was a violation. Point to New Bedford, tied at 4.
that'll send Tavares back to serve. The sophomore who worked his way onto this team.
New Bedford with a height advantage. Nice serve there by Tavares. Durfee plays it conservatively on the outside, and a miss hit there. Nick Rosa.
Hit along for Nick Rosa. He had the right idea, but maybe didn't come down on that ball as much as he would like, and it went long.
This is Daniel Matuzik.
Left-handed serve.
On the outside, that's Rosa. And this time he will get the kill. So credit Nick Rosa with his first kill of the match.
He had so much on that ball that Durfee was able to defend it, but just by hitting the ball, it went backwards.
Blockers couldn't really get there in time, and that's one of the keys in setting. Setting the ball positionally well, but also doing it and avoiding the blockers. Durfee plays it over safely here. Chance for New Bedford. We're tied at 5. Backline trying to do a bit too much that time. That was Rosa. Put it into the net. 6-5 Durfee. Echo.
Great minds.
Yeah, think alike.
An ace for Abalone Lima.
$7-5 Durfee. Lima.
He gets a lot on that ball, huh?
Getting a lot on it. He's right. Set to the outside. New Bedford, the blockers there that time. And point to New Bedford. Nice work there by the Whalers' number 15, Devon Shields.
So much spin on that ball that when Matusik for Durfee hit that ball, it was just spinning in a direction he didn't want it to go.
Couldn't do too much with it. Oh, nice work there by New Bedford to keep it alive. They go with the tip.
A tip on a return tip.
But Cameron DeMello was there for Durfee. And the point to the Hilltoppers. 8-6, they lead it.
Keep an eye on number 13, Christopher Milford for Durfee. What power as he comes down on that ball.
To the outside, nice kill there, this time from New Bedford's Jensen Farnworth.
Picks up his first. And we saw Durfee with a left-handed serve. Is that something you have to adjust to?
It depends. Depends if you can execute a knuckling serve, it certainly would be different because it's knuckling probably a little differently.
Oh, a little miscommunication by the Whalers there.
But they say it was out, so point to New Bedford. 8 apiece.
There he goes.
Milford again on the outside.
He's just got such power as it comes down on that ball.
That's Govin serving. 9-8 Durfee. Tip there. Could not put it away though. On the outside, a point to New Bedford. Ball was hammered there by Salih Tavares, his second kill of the match, and the ball went and hit the padding at the net as it was being blocked. So that's a dead ball at that point. The padding is not like the net. You can play it off the net.
Not the padding.
Here on the outside and placed nicely there down the line. Nick Rosa, this time a little more patient, Pete. Didn't try to do too much. Durfee was all kind of bunched up closer to the net, got it in the back corner down the line.
So the Whalers up by 1.
Point to Durfee. New Bedford into the net, apparently.
And this is Milford back to serve. We mentioned at the net, he's got power and power on the serve too.
We just saw the ball hit the ceiling, but it's alive. New Bedford really nearly coming up with a point there, and they do on the violation from Durfee, and that was Nick Rosa from the back line. Got one that went right off the tape with a lot of topspin. 11-10 New Bedford.
Too much on that.
That's Granum. And Granum, I'm going to make a guess, is probably 5'8", 5'9", maybe at most. And he has some major hops. He gets way up there. Had the ability to hit the ball down on his 2 kill attempts. That time just a little bit wide.
To Silva now.
Off the tape. That's a service error. So point to New Bedford. Back and forth here. Middle of set number 1. 12-11 New Bedford leads it. Salih Tavares. Oh, and the tip there from Cameron DeMello. Point to Durfee, tied at 12.
DeMello was just able to put it where they ain't.
Squads look very evenly matched here, Pete, early on.
We noticed when New Bedford came out that they had quite a bit of height, but Durfee seems to be matching up well.
So far, so good for the Hilltoppers.
Nice save. Can they get it over?
Oh,
yes.
They do. Great work there by New Bedford. Point to Durfee. Again, New Bedford into the net. I think it was Barboza. Not sure. 13-12 Durfee.
Game's been tight all the way.
On the outside, Rosa could not put it away.
Tip.
Tip that time from DeMello. New Bedford is there. Here's DeMello on the outside off the block. And New Bedford called for the carry. Point to Durfee, and they have a 2-point lead, 14-12.
I think if they can score, well, there's a timeout, but I was going to say if they can score this 15th point, that'll be the first 3-point lead for either team.
Yes, indeed. Timeout called by New Bedford head coach Ben Coturley. The Hilltoppers junior varsity won over New Bedford here today, Pete, in 3 sets.
They won the first and they won the third. Is how that played out. There you see the Durfee squad. Head coach is Brendan Kelly. He's in the red t-shirt with his back to us.
Of course, Brendan played here, or played there at Durfee.
So he's familiar with coming here.
Certainly is. Multi-sport athlete, coaching volleyball here.
As we mentioned in our broadcast at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech last night, school vacation coming up next week, and both of these teams are also off for the week with no games scheduled. We will take a look at their schedule of upcoming games for you in just a few minutes.
14-12, Durfee leads it. The two teams back on the floor. Number 2 is Daniel Matuzik. That was Connor Silva, middle of the floor. The set was a bit low, and because of that, Devon Shields put it into the net. You could see he was much higher than where the ball was set.
Didn't get it where he wanted it.
15-12 Durfee. Rosa with a tip. Middle of the floor. Oh, that was a ball that was hammered by DeMello, but handled there nicely by Connor Silva. On the outside, a tip from Rosa. Durfee is there. One of the best points of the match so far. Silva plays it over conservatively. Middle of the floor. Both squads there. New Bedford with an opportunity here.
Oh, nice.
And a throwdown from Devon Shields, his first kill of the match, and New Bedford stops a Durfee run and draws back to within 2.
He was able to drop that ball almost straight down.
Not a big swing, and really just pushing the ball down. There was the tip from DeMello. That time New Bedford was there. Whalers have played well defensively. Nice dig there by Connor Silva. And then the ball into the net.
Whalers are catching up.
That from Avalon Lima. Whalers back to within 1.
Nice block.
That block on DeMello. New Bedford setting up their blocking much better here the last few points. That was DeMello, but the Whalers are there. To the outside.
And a kill.
And the ball hit the antenna. The official signifying it hit the antenna. And that came from New Bedford's Farnworth, and that's obviously out immediately. As soon as the ball hits the antenna, it's considered out, even though that ball was on the floor and would have been in play without hitting the antenna. So point to Durfee, 16-14, Durfee leads it.
And you can see number 13, Milford, Christopher Milford, is back at the net. Keep an eye on him, he's got power.
Lima serving. New Bedford keeping it alive here. That's Milford. Going to go back to Christopher Milford on the outside.
They like to set him up.
Well, you can see why.
Chris Milford had a season-high 17 kills in the Durfee win over Barnstable.
It's 17-14.
He's back in that front row after the rotation, and he's very
big
comfortable.
serve there from Lima. And then Farnworth into the net with that push-down attempt. Durfee up by 4.
One of the biggest leads of the game.
Lima really getting something on that serve.
Oh, put back
Bedford
quick.
trying to keep it alive here.
Set up
Set
Milford.
the outside Milford, and he put it into the net. Tried to play it conservatively, and I guess maybe psyched himself up. Put it into the net.
He was looking up to the ceiling. I don't know if he lost it in the light or was not sure about where the speaker was.
18-15.
Oh, nobody there.
New Bedford asleep at the switch that time on a missed pass.
That must be so frustrating for a coach.
Well, that's kind of like that Texas leaguer that falls in, Pete. You're expecting on that pass there to be another pass so that you can prepare your defense, and then it was just a missed pass. No one was ready for it. Absolute bomb on the outside by Milford.
With another kill.
20-15 Durfee. Number 1 is Cameron DeMello. On the outside, Farnworth, and he'll be credited with a kill. Jensen Farnworth, his second. 2016.
And we feel that he is related to the Farnworth from Vogue. We don't know the exact relationship, but or relation.
That's Curran Farnworth at Vogue Tech.
And this is Jensen Farnworth.
Middle of the floor, and setting that one up again perfectly for Anthony Granum.
Durfee with a 5-point lead.
Number 3 is Jack Garvin serving.
Oh!
And that time New Bedford able to put one away. It was the Whalers' number 10, Dilson Costa Texera. 21-17. Big point here for New Bedford.
See that? Yeah, that was just, you can't return that one.
No. Without a block, there's no chance to stop that.
De Silva tried.
Milford played it over conservatively. Middle of the floor. That was Dilson Texera. Could not put it away.
Point for the Whalers.
Point to New Bedford. Granum tried to get there, but neither side really sure if it was going to go over the net, so it almost became an Alphonse and Gaston routine. Bedford with a chance here. Texera.
Way long.
Tried to do too much with it. Costa Texera. (22-18). Durfee. Hilltoppers are there. That was Galvin. And then middle of the floor, Anthony Granum.
With another kill, I have 4 on the night so far.
That's what I have as well, Pete. New Bedford calls a timeout. So rarely do you see this. Granum, if you looked at him just size-wise, you'd probably think he's either going to be an all-around player who's out there all the time, or he's going to play a lot on the back line.
Let's watch him
no,
here.
No, not so much. Look at the hops
height. Yeah.
There from Anthony Granum. And you can see he's not a big player at all, but tremendous hops. We've seen Granum on the football field. Can't remember if he played on the hardwood, but I definitely know that Anthony played football, and we saw him there.
Pretty standard height for Durfee.
Yeah, no real standouts as far as extra height. Tallest players are Milford. And that is Durfee with the serve. Little break there as Costa Texera got it to roll up off the tape and fall. So New Bedford back to within 4.
Little benefit for him there, getting the give the assist to the net.
23-19. Connor Silva has a ball that just absolutely rocketed, but well wide.
That was Lima.
That's coming from number 10, Avalon Lima. Here's Granum. Oh, he played that well.
Nice dig.
And the point to Durfee. New Bedford striking the ball twice. Same player hitting it twice, not working those hands or arms independently.
So game point for Durfee.
On the outside, that time well set up, was Salih Tavares, his 3rd kill. So New Bedford stays alive here, down 3 points. Watch it again,
Watch
Pete.
his kill, yeah. Right there, and then just boom.
Back set, and he was so well set up, hitting that ball straight down. Salih Tavares serving. Durfee keeping it alive.
Got tangled in the net there, but they were to get it away.
And then a ball hammered on the outside. Rosa off the blocker. So New Bedford creeping a bit closer.
Now down by 2.
24-22. Of course, need 2 consecutive points here to deadlock at 24 to keep this set alive. Salih Tavares. That'll do it. On the outside, Durfee able to finish it off in set number 1. Avalon Lima with the kill. And with that, Durfee takes set 1 over New Bedford by a score of 25-22.
Pretty evenly matched in this first set. Did have some standouts on both sides of the ball. Of course, Anthony Granum just having a great night so far with 4 kills. Christopher Milford also is a power up front for Durfee. For New Bedford, we've got Nick Rosa with 3 kills. Also Amir Salah Tavares with 3 kills so far on the night. So the teams will switch sides, and we'll have set number 2 coming up. I mentioned the upcoming schedule for both teams. They have no games scheduled for vacation week. For New Bedford High, they are back in action here at the Beersworth Gonzalez Gym on April 24th, when they will host Brockton a week from Monday. Then on the 26th, they go to Taunton. We just saw the Taunton Tigers last night against Greater New Bedford Voc Tech. On the 27th, the next day, they'll be at Quincy. And then on May 1st, that'll be their first game back here in New Bedford. They will host North Quincy.
Yeah, so some tough matches upcoming, Pete.
Yep. For Durfee, again, they're off until Monday the 24th when they host Quincy. They go to Brockton on the 26th, and they go to Taunton on the 28th. So that's it for the month of April for both teams.
Yeah, we saw the Taunton Tigers yesterday against Greater New Bedford Voc Tech, so should be a good matchup with New Bedford. And obviously with Durfee as well, because they'll be meeting in that list of games that Pete gave to you.
You mentioned the Southeast Conference, how it used to be the big 3, used to be New Bedford, Durfee, and Brockton. Now we've added to that 2 more teams, Bridgewater Raynham and Dartmouth High School. The game I mentioned last night, the New Bedford and New Bedford Voc had the first game of the city championship scheduled for April 7th. And I talked to athletic director Tom Tarpey today, and I said, what was the situation? Why the cancellation? He said that when they made the schedule, they didn't realize that was Good Friday. So they did not have the game on Good Friday. It's now going to be played April 29th.
That's a Saturday at noontime, we're hearing.
Okay. Now there is a game that was, let's see, that was scheduled to be played. I'm looking for it on the schedule here. That game will be here at New Bedford High. And then just a few days later, the following Friday, they will meet again at New Bedford Voc. So. And if memory serves me right, there is a trophy that's actually missing a piece. I think I remember that. We did a game, I think, back at Voc, and I asked our producer, Dan, please give me a shot of the trophy, and he did, and it looked funny because I can't remember what's missing. I don't know if the player's arm or something got knocked off in the transit, I guess.
Yep, I think it's time for a new city trophy.
Yep.
So we're headed for set number 2 with Durfee leading it 1-0. New Bedford now on the near side of the floor in their white. Official checking the lineups, says we're ready to go.
Checking to make sure the rotation's proper, I guess.
Barboza set middle of the floor. Costa Texera into the net. So
had a good idea. You wanted to go like almost straight down with it, but didn't get it over the net.
Yeah, ball wasn't high enough or close enough to the net to do that. two things. You need the ball at the right height, and you need it close enough to the net where you really can strike it downhill.
New Bedford into the net on that play.
So quickly, Durfee 2-0.
And I would assume if you're Coach Ben Caturli, you definitely want this second game.
Yeah, you don't want to fall 2-0. Durfee keeping it alive here. And Costa Texera.
Too long.
Long. Had a ball he could handle on an overpass, but hit it long. 3-0 Durfee. Costa Texera, and a carry there. Again, Costa Texera. Ball was into his body, Pete, and you can play it off your arms, but it hit his body and then goes to his arms. You can't do that.
Yeah, he seemed to get, I don't know if he was out of position on that or what.
Just get tied up.
Nice tap.
Durfee keeps it alive. Barboza sets to the outside this time. And Salih Tavares into the net with the return, with a kill attempt. Another point to Durfee. 5-0 Durfee to start set 2. Costa Texera played it conservatively, and that time it pays off.
Yeah, he went up. Maybe you were thinking kill, but he put that over, just as you said, being conservative. And Durfee was not expecting that, so a point for the Whalers.
Yeah, found an area on the floor that was really unoccupied. It's 5-1 Durfee. There's Granum. This time the block by Costa Texera.
See the Costa Texera, number 10 there. He's up at the net. Was able to block that one.
Barboza sets to the outside. Rosa had to go with a left hand as the pass was a little bit off the mark. Barboza goes to Costa Texera.
Gets the kill.
I'd like to see that one on replay. I thought it went off the tape. Let's see if we have that on replay, guys. Durfee's questioning. It looked like to me like it just hit the tape and went out. It wasn't blocked.
Coach Kelly.
Yeah, he's like, where did that go?
Here we go.
Watch it here. See if it goes off the tape.
So here we have the set. And
yeah, that's directly off the tape. There's no question about it. Show it again, guys, if you can. I don't know if you could roll it back, but that looked like it went directly off the tape. That was not off a blocker.
Now both officials are
here it is
conferring.
again, Pete. Let's see if we can freeze it.
You're watching the kill. Here's the set, and now the kill.
Right there, off the tape. There was a blocker up, but he's off to the left. The ball goes to the right of the blocker and just hits the tape. There's no one else there to block it.
It never hit the blocker.
No.
So the referees are discussing this at the net.
I mean, that was 100%.
And they give the point to Durfee.
Yeah, they're going to reverse it here, as that was the right call. And there's no question on it. It looked to me from the naked eye that he was off the tape.
So we take away a kill for Dilson to Costa Texera.
And the point goes to Durfee. 6-2, Hilltoppers. Anthony Granum with the tip over for Durfee. Salih Tavares. Back corner of the floor. That time he caught Durfee pushing up that back line and moved aggressively forward. And so because of that, he was able to push a shot to that far back corner. Point to New Bedford, trailing at 6-3.
You see Coach Brian Caturli there in the background with the short sleeves, the red top. Doing a little double duty today. He coached the JV game because I understand the JV coach is out sick today.
Yes, we saw Ben serving as the junior varsity head coach.
Which I would assume is helpful for him to get a close-up view of how his younger kids work.
How the future would look. Salih Tavares. Durfee is there. And Rosa took the overpass and put it away. Nick Rosa with 5 kills. 7-4 Durfee.
We were talking before the game, 2 pretty young teams here, as New Bedford has 6 seniors. Durfee has 7. New Bedford with 5 juniors. Durfee with 6. 5 sophomores on this New Bedford roster.
New Bedford able to keep it alive.
Nice block.
See if they go back to it. No, they go with a back set this time. And
Collision.
the kill there on the outside by Cameron DeMello.
And New Bedford got maybe in a situation where 2 players thought that they had the best angle on the ball, ended up colliding.
That's DeMello serving. Rosa on the outside.
Out of bounds.
Went wide. Point to Durfee. 9-4 Hilltoppers lead it.
The ball actually went out the door. As you can see to the right there, we have another beautiful day here, so the door wide open. It's a warm gymnasium.
It is something we see here when it is warm outside. They have to open the door to make sure they keep the gym as cool as possible. Rosa just bumps it over.
Oh, nice wall, nice block.
That was Cameron DeMello, blocked at the net. Point to New Bedford, trailing at 9-5.
We saw that a lot with Voc Tech, as they have 3 bodies that go up and make a wall to block that ball.
Bears had a solid performance yesterday against Taunton. Point to New Bedford on the carry by Durfee.
Whalers coming back here.
Nick Rosa.
Ace.
And that's a service ace for Rosa. Whalers creeping back to within 2.
This is one of those 5 sophomores I mentioned, Nick Rosa.
That time put it into the net.
You can see that player has talent, though.
No question.
He goes to the bench, Nick Rosa.
And Devon Centeo checks in. That's Centeo.
Trouble.
Oh, great effort there by Carter Barboza, but could not play it from there. 11-7 Durfee. And that's out.
Now, if you've noticed a couple of times in this set, the teams appear to hit the ball 4 times. Maybe on the next time out, you can explain that, Joe.
Yes.
Nice dig.
On the outside, Farnworth.
Yes.
Kill to Jensen Farnworth. Back and forth. 11-9 Durfee. New Bedford back to within 2. '15 is Devon Shields. And a nice block there on the outside, Monfort. And Monfort is saying it was out. He's arguing with the chair umpire, and the chair umpire said, no, that block was in.
Dilson DaCosta Teixeira.
And it was in. You can see from here it was well in. I don't think Durfee's going to win this argument.
They won the last one, but not this one.
Shields. And Milford again long. So you see what happens here. If you set the ball too high, Pete, then what happens is it gives the defense plenty of time to get in the way. And you saw with that, Montfort tried a bit too hard.
Oh, point for Durfee.
We're going to see here again. Was it the tape? Or was it blocked out? It was out. But the chair umpire is unsure if it was off the tape.
And New Bedford gets the point.
That's what he says. So it's off the tape and going out. Not blocked by New Bedford. Same type of call from earlier. Watch it here. You'll see here playing it off the tape clearly.
Oh, trouble.
Collision on the floor there. Carter Barboza and Devon Centeo.
He's one of the smaller players on the court, Centeo and Rodrigues.
We're tied at 12.
Two sophomores that are seeing some time here.
Serve right into the net.
Now remember, the Whalers at one point were down by 5.
Now they lead it 13-12. Carter Barboza. It's a service ace.
Whalers on a roll.
14-12.
They have a chance here to let some of their starters get a breather on the bench.
Into the net by Montfort. And Durfee will call a timeout. Durfee led by as many as 5 here in set number 2. But at the midway point, now it's New Bedford 15 and Durfee 12.
Montfort, Christopher Milford, number 13. He was a power in that first set. Struggling a little bit here in set number 2. So how come I'm seeing teams hit the ball 4 times? How does that work?
Well, a block does not count as a hit. So
okay, that's probably it, right?
And that is exactly where it is. So you'll see when they hit the ball on a kill attempt, a block does not count on a hit. So if it stays on your side, you have 3 hits from that point on. And you'll see that happen often, a block, and then the ball just either stays in that area and someone plays it, or it goes somewhere else on the floor. It still does not count as a hit. So they get 3 strikes from that point.
You learned all these rules by watching your kids play?
By doing it a lot. I'm doing a lot of games and watching. My daughter played at Greater New Bedford Voc-Tech. She was the only one who played volleyball. My son Kyle played the other 3 sports, baseball, football, and basketball.
Service ace for Carter Barboza, number 2. That's like when you and I do a field hockey game. I'm one of the few that knows what the whistles mean because both of my girls played it for 4 years.
They played some field hockey.
Yeah, I spent 8 years in the camp chair trying to figure that game out.
Set to the outside by Barboza, and another kill for New Bedford. Jensen Farnworth this time.
He's having a game. That's kill number 4.
And New Bedford here by 5 now at 17-12. This all started when Christopher Milford was blocked by Costa Texera. Then after that, Durfee just tried a bit too hard to avoid the New Bedford blockers. And there's a ball that's hammered out by Anthony Granum. Arguing here that it was tipped maybe. Looks like Durfee's not going to get that call.
Durfee trying to make their case, signaling that it was a tip, but no go.
18-12 New Bedford. Barboza with another good serve. Milford on the outside. There are the New Bedford blockers. Farnworth.
Yes.
Another point for New Bedford. Another kill credited to Jensen Farnworth.
Number 5 for the junior.
New Bedford 19-12 over Durfee here in set 2.
Durfee does have one more timeout left in this set. Both teams get 2.
That's Grantham, and again, Durfee trying so hard here. Grantham putting it well out. Anthony Grantham.
Trying a little too hard.
Hammering the ball, but well beyond the end line.
Seems like Carter Barboza has been here for a while serving.
And he has. That's Milford. New Bedford was there with Centeo. Jensen Farnworth on the outside. Another point for New Bedford and Farnworth.
Keep going to Farnworth.
And you mentioned that Carter Barboza was on the service line, or has been on the service line a long time, and that's key. Just stay there. Don't make a mistake. Make Durfee stop this run. And another point for New Bedford. And Barboza just has been so consistent, not trying to do too much with the serve, but getting a solid serve over, and then New Bedford has played the you make the mistake game.
Right. And Grantham did. He was not ready that time. Set up Milford.
Blocked at the net by Costa Texera. What a run here for New Bedford, 23-12.
It's almost like the Whalers have found, let's take a look at this. Now this is a great kill, but then the block, put it right back at you. New Bedford has found an answer to Milford. There he goes again, but the block by
Costa Texera was there. Farnworth on the outside this time, a mishit.
What a run.
23-13 now. New Bedford up by 10 after trailing by as many as 5 here in set number 2.
Biggest lead of the night.
Oh, it's a service ace.
I thought you had it. No, you had it.
Yep, that's the Alphonse and Gaston routine. Oh, and then a service error into the net, setting up New Bedford for a set point.
24-14 Whalers. They need this win to tie it up at a game apiece. I mentioned how you didn't want to let this one get away. You don't want to go down 2-0. Milford.
Milford on the outside. Another block by Costa Texera. And New Bedford takes set number 2, 25-14.
That's the difference, I think, from the first set, is we saw they pretty much assigned to Costa Texera to go up against those kill attempts by Milford.
And you alluded to the fact that Carter Barboza stayed on the service line a long time, Pete, and of course that prevents a rotation. So
here we go. This is the set from Milford, and
Costa Texera has stayed up on the front line. I mean, obviously when you rotate, you come off that front line. Right. So usually when he goes to the back line, they're going to sub him out. So it's key when a certain player is in a position that you really like him to be in, that you take advantage of that with your service game.
New Bedford's record last year was 12-9. The Whalers have 3 goals this season that Coach Turley mentioned at the beginning of the year. They are, number 1, to win the Southeast Conference. Number 2, to finish with a record of 500 or better. And number 3, to play a clean game by reducing errors. And they definitely did it in that second set. New Bedford High School is off to a decent start in some other sports. As we check the records, we see that the girls lacrosse team is 3-1. Softball with Coach Harry Lowe is 3-1. Girls tennis is struggling. They are 1-3 on the season. And the New Bedford boys tennis is 0-4. New Bedford baseball with Coach John Seed also off to a rough start. They are 0-4.
So New Bedford ties it up at a set apiece here. Whalers at 3-2 on the season, and Durfee at 2-3.
Didn't quite know what we would see coming into today's match. If you look at the records and you look at the fact that they're both young teams, they were pretty evenly matched in that first set.
Yeah, and the play really picked up in the second set as well for New Bedford, significantly. But you can't underestimate the fact that when Carter Barboza was on the service line, he continued to serve well there, and New Bedford scored a series of points with him on the service line, and Costa Texera at the net.
2 aces for Carter Barboza on the night. Jensen Farnworth just on fire. I have him with 6 kills on the night.
Yes, he has really picked up his game.
So we'll see who takes the advantage here as we go into set number 3.
Timeouts between sets, 3 minutes in length. Team switch ends of the floor. New Bedford now on the far side.
One thing I also find interesting is that they switch benches too. You don't see that in basketball.
No, even when you're going the other way, but in volleyball they do. And I'm sure you remember when there used to be side outs, Pete, and that was way back. Our first, I'd say, couple of years that we did volleyball here on the New Bedford Cable Network, we had side outs. Maybe it was even 1 year. And you could only score points when you served.
Yes. Yep.
But now that has changed. And it's been that way for a long time now. At least 20 years. Tip by Salil Tavares, could not put it away. Middle of the floor. Costa Texera is there.
Good volley.
Farnworth on the outside.
Still alive.
Durfee and New Bedford keeping it alive, and they're going to call a carry there. No, they're going to say the hits were not in sync, were independent. And New Bedford's arguing was only 3 hits,
Yeah,
and it was. But I think the
Carter-
official was signifying that there were 2 strikes on that last hit.
So Carter Barboza has gone over. You see him,
Well, they're going to bring the
number 18.
floor official over, and again, it was only 3 hits. So
This is the, I think, 3rd conference we've seen tonight.
3rd time.
And the ruling will be?
They're going to say play over.
So
Right. If the call was 4 hits, then there was only 3. So it's good that they're playing this over.
that was a long volley.
And Bedford is there. Centeo on that back line. And then Farnworth wide this time. Point to Durfee. No dispute.
Yeah, he didn't hit it too deep, but it was wide. It went out on the far side of the court.
Jack Garvin serving for Durfee. And the kill on the outside by Farnworth.
Picks up another
No,
one.
check that. It was number 9. Yes, it was Farnworth. Jensen Farnworth picked up another one, as you mentioned, Pete.
Number 7 on the night. That'll send Ronas Ayala back to serve.
And Granum into the net.
Granum was red hot that first set.
Yes,
but
he was.
Struggled in set number 2.
Yeah, he's cooled off quite a bit. Ayala serving. And that's a service ace for Ronas Ayala.
Daniel Matuzik for the Hilltoppers was the one that, well, hesitated hitting that one back.
Not a great pass. A tip there by Milford. He couldn't put it away. At time of violation called against New Bedford's Salil Tavares. This is Milford.
A junior for Durfee.
hit it well, but the topspin brought it right into the net. And so the unforced error. New
Very
Bedford
strong
leads
player.
it 4-2, yes. Good mechanics there, just didn't hit it quite high enough. Topspin brought it down into the net. Whalers are there. To the outside, Rosa, he was denied. They're going to set back to the outside, and a ball that was hammered out. Oh, they're going to say it was off the blocker, so point to Durfee.
So it went off the tip.
Rosa could not put it away that time. And then the ball is well long on the outside by Avalon Lima. 5-3 New Bedford.
So the Whalers send Tavares back to serve.
Salih Tavares.
Too low.
And it really didn't make sense there that Galvin played it over to Milford instead of playing it toward the net.
Right.
Kept it
back.
in the back line. You don't want that. Salih Tavares again going at Galvin. There's a tip by DeMello, but New Bedford is there. They're going to go on the outside.
Nice
Oh,
dig.
tremendous dig there by Centeo. Oh no, Ronis Avila.
Ayala with a great dig, but then the shot was too far, went out of bounds.
6-4. Whalers lead it.
Oh,
There was a ball hammered by Devon Shields. His second kill. 7-4 New Bedford. On the outside, the tip by Farnworth, but into the net. Well, here we go. Looks like we're going to have another conference here, as I think the floor official, they're going to say both sides into the net, so they're going to say another do-over. I don't think I've ever seen that. Two in
one game.
one match and one game. You're right, Pete. Service ace there for New Bedford and Nick Rosa.
His second one of the night.
And Durfee calls a timeout.
Yeah, we've seen two do-overs in this one set, which is rare to see in a night of volleyball.
Yes, indeed. So the chair umpire in that last call had said New Bedford was into the net. The floor official said Durfee was into the net, so they said, well, both sides are into the net.
Yeah, they don't have the benefit of instant replay in high school sports yet. That day will probably come. As Coach Ben Caterly, who, as I mentioned, coached the JV game before this matchup, New Bedford losing to Durfee in the JV match. But the JV coach was out sick today, so the head coach gets a little double duty.
Teams are headed back out on the floor. New Bedford leading at 8-4. Joe Cabral and Pete Braley with you this evening on the New Bedford Cable Network. Just a wonderful day along the South Coast. And that's why you call
Timeout.
a timeout.
Yeah. We've seen that a number of times.
Football, they try to ice the kicker. In volleyball, you try to ice the server.
And Nick Rosa comes out after that.
And That was Avalon Lima, well beyond the end line.
So right back to the Whalers.
And those points are really killers when you just give up a point without making the opposition play it.
This is Shields, and he gives it right back. Now, was that a mental mistake?
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
out of 10, just not
and
focused.
there's also there's some level of discipline to say, hey, my serve is not that good that I can be that precise, so I just got to get it over. Like that. By DeMello. Make the opposition, first rule of thumb is, make them beat themselves. It's one of Bill Belichick's mantras. Early on, do everything to avoid beating yourself.
Yep.
Let the opposition do that for you.
By the way, that's the athletic director, Tom Tarpey, sitting by the back door. There are a couple of players outside.
Junior varsity players.
So he's probably there to make sure nothing gets out of hand.
Outside, Milford into the net again. Point to New Bedford, and you can see how his game broke down once he was blocked a couple of times by Costa Texera. Not trying to do too much, Pete. You're overthinking it, swinging a bit too hard. It's not free and easy anymore.
He was getting those points in the first set. Another block by
Granum was blocked by the ever-present Costa Texera.
And Barboza goes back to serve.
And Anthony Granum has also been frustrated by Costa Texera. Here's Milford. New Bedford able to keep it alive.
Nice job.
Outstanding work there. Milford that time hammered it through the blocker. And so Christopher Milford, it had been a while since he had a kill, comes up with one here in set 3. New Bedford leading it 12-7. That's Jack Galvin serving. Ball off the tape, but over by Costa Texera. You can play it on your side, but it's out. So discipline there from Milford. Galvin.
Oh,
A tip there by Costa Texera, and it's going to work.
what a nice move. He goes up, you're thinking kill, and he just tips it over the net.
Dilson Costa Texera started slow in set 1, but has picked it up here in sets 2 and 3.
I wonder if that's something he decides while he's in midair that he's going to do. Definitely split second.
Ball is into the net.
Lourdes Ayala, one of those seniors. Milford will come out, and he is replaced by Braden Bartley to serve.
Costa Texera with a tip this time that Durfee is able to answer.
That's out.
And Granum, he's been pressing, you can tell. Had such great success early on. Now he's been blocked several times, just pressing. It's human nature. You try to do too much when things are, going against you.
He hit that one to Coach Caturli.
That's Granum, and this time he was able to split the blockers and come up with a kill. It had been a while for Anthony Granum. Now he has 5 kills on the match. New Bedford 14, Durfee 10.
Coach Brandon Kelly for Durfee in the background there. And this is De Silva.
Elias De Silva, the libero for Durfee. A big swing, and you don't see that often. There was a swing and a miss. Nick Rosa really wanted to hammer one, and
was a little ahead of it.
Yeah, it's all about hammer and nail, and that time the hammer missed the nail. That was Cameron DeMello. New Bedford is there. Salil Tavares, and then Galvin keeps it alive. Crazy point. DeMello, Rosa was there. Again, all over the place. That was Salil Tavares. And then the ball is out. It's New Bedford's point.
We have had some wild volleys here.
Yeah, that rally was crazy because it wasn't always under control. It was right, left, back, forward, and it was a long rally, but very erratic. That's DeMello trying for the tip, could not put it away. Rosa on the outside. That time, De Silva was there for Durfee.
Oh!
And
unable to make the dig, Connor Silva.
Connor Silva tried to get there, got his hand under the ball. And you'll see that. Your hand could be on the floor, and his hand was. The ball hit on top of his hand, but did not come up high enough for someone else to handle it. That's Matuzak. Nice dig there by De Silva for Durfee.
Oh! Little out
Ayala
of position.
got tied up.
Had to go at it with his left hand, was his only option, but could not get a good hit.
That's Matuzak serving.
Oh!
And then Devon Shields with a kill.
His third of the night. Whalers up by 3.
13 New Bedford. Here
Take
it is,
a look.
Pete.
Boom.
Split the blockers.
Well, substitution for Durfee here as a player comes in who was not on our roster.
No. To the outside. And Farnworth.
We haven't heard from him much in this set. That's his 8th kill on the night.
Jensen Farnworth.
Oh,
Tried to play it over the net along the tape by DeMello. Stayed on his side of the floor, and a timeout. Durfee with New Bedford leading it 18-13.
I would think if you're Coach Brendan Kelly, you don't want this one to get away. We're tied at a set apiece. Whalers up by 5 here.
Match about an hour and 8 minutes old at this point. We're in set number 3 with New Bedford and Durfee tied at a set apiece. Joe Cabral and Pete Braley with you from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium. New Bedford 3-2 on the season. Durfee 2-3. First matchup for the squads in the conference.
That's one of the goals for Coach Caturli's New Bedford Whalers is to win the conference this year. And again, this is their first conference game so far. They will be getting back in action after the break, and they'll be taking on Brockton High School, so more conference action coming up.
Back to the live action. An overpass there that was blocked by Connor Farnworth, Jensen Farnworth, excuse me. And you saw the tip attempt there from Durfee, but Farnworth anticipated the ball coming over, blocked it, and the point to New Bedford. Galvin bumps to the outside. New Bedford is there. And another tip from Farnworth, perfectly positioned.
Yeah, just drop it in there. I'm running out of room to record his scoring.
He's on a roll here. Jensen Farnworth Another fine serve there by Rosa. Ball is out.
And again, multiple serves here by a New Bedford player.
This time it's Nick Rosa.
Oh, what a play by
Farnworth again took the overpass, and that's all based on the outstanding service game coming from Rosa. Durfee will make a substitution.
Yes,
Get Matuzik back in.
Yeah.
Right at Matuzik. Great serve there by Nick Rosa. And then finally Durfee stops the run with Cameron DeMello.
Left-handed kill.
He was set up perfectly that time, and it's 22-14 New Bedford.
Well, there is substitution. You see this shot here.
Out goes Avalon Lima.
That left-handed spike. Olubanwu. One of the first times we've seen him tonight.
Off the tape. Durfee handling it. Whalers with a chance here. Farnworth on the outside with a sky hook. Blocked that time by Durfee. That's Milford. Well, I wonder if that one was out.
Yeah, it looked like it could have gone out.
Ayala played a ball that, no, Centeo, check that I think looked like it was going out, Pete.
I would agree.
It was a reaching back.
He let that one go, and it's a point for the Whalers.
That time, New Bedford wisely letting it go. It was the Whalers' Brooklyn Rodricks making that decision. 23-15, New Bedford in fine position here to take set number 3 and go up 2-1. That's Shields.
And that went to no man's land.
And that's an ace for Devon Shields. New Bedford with a set point.
They are playing well these last 2 sets.
Overpass there, chance for New Bedford. On the outside, Farnworth. Dig there by Matuzik. And then the block.
Put back
from Costa Texera. And New Bedford wins set number 3 by a score of 25-15.
The Whalers, I guess, got a little bit of a wake-up call in that first set, losing it only by 3, 25-22. But they have come back to take set number 2, 25-14, set number 3, 25-15. And if you coach Mark, Brian, Mark is his dad. If you coach Ben Caterly, he's working on his clipboard there, and he's about to go to this huddle and tell the boys, let's put it away.
And if you were to talk about the keys really here to the match, it really centers around Dilson Costa Texera,
right,
and his ability to block. He just had an outstanding match here, beginning in set 2, really setting up New Bedford for that set number 2 win, and then repeating that here in set number 3. He really got into the head of several of the Durfee players who are trying a bit too hard maybe to put points away. And
specifically Christopher Milford, number 13, and number 5, Anthony Granham, who were outstanding in that first set.
Yes.
But you're right, DeCosta Texera has been the answer, as he's been able to block a lot of Milford's kill attempts and keep the Whalers in this game as we move ahead.
And we've also seen a lot from Jensen Farnworth. He has a list of kills beginning in set number 2. I don't know what you have him at unofficially, Pete.
I have him at 10.
Okay, Jensen Farnworth somewhere right around 10 kills here in the match. That's impressive.
And keep in mind, this team just played last night. They had a game here against Randolph. Jensen Farnworth had 6 kills in that game, so he's way ahead of that tonight. Also, Nick Rosa had a good game last night. And, of course, Amir Salih Tavares and DeCosta Teixeira, they had 5 kills apiece. They're having outstanding nights tonight. So
and Bedford back out on the floor.
We're about to start set number 4.
And so far, our viewers who are not that familiar with high school volleyball, if you go to a 5th set, you only play to 15. You switch sides at 8. And it usually is a very tense 5th set, as you might imagine, because you have the runway is short, Pete. And you don't have a lot of time to make up a deficit.
Right. So we are set to go.
New Bedford leading it 2-1. Whalers on the near side of the floor now. They won set 2 on this side of the floor and just took set number 3 on the far side after losing set number 1 on that side.
So the floor judge is checking the rosters to make sure the right players.
Yes, checking the lineup here.
Does this carry over from the last game as far as rotation?
No, you set yourself up for each and every set. Durfee with the serve here. That's Connor Silva. Milford blocked by Costa Texera, but that time the ball stayed on the New Bedford side of the floor and they could not handle it.
Connor Silva maybe thought he was playing soccer there for a moment.
Tried for the kick save. On the outside, Salih Tavares was set up perfectly that time by Barboza and just hammered one.
That is his 5th kill unofficially.
And part of the job as a setter is obviously to fool the defense on where you're going, so you don't get the blockers there. And that time they did not, and because of it, Salih Tavares was able to really drive one. That time Anthony Granum was there to block Salih Tavares, and that's
for that one.
Again, you saw the ball was set very high, gave Granum a lot of time to anticipate.
Right.
2-1 Durfee. Violation called against New Bedford. Point to Durfee, 3-1 Durfee. Costa Texera was blocked. On the outside, ball is out by Nick Rosa. Another point for Durfee. Early 4-1 lead for the Hilltoppers in set 4.
Costa Texera got a little dose of what he's been doing to the Hilltoppers with that block.
Rosa, Durfee is there. Connor Silva. Ayala. Over safely. Here's Durfee. Again, this is Ayala. On the outside, Rosa off the tape. Down the line. And that time Costa Texera turned into a setter and set up Salih Tavares for the kill and did a good job at it, Pete.
Not really something we've seen him do a lot tonight, but came through when needed.
Yep. I wouldn't expect him to do so, but he did. And there's an ace. Connor Silva.
Whalers right back in this, 4-3.
Rosa was there to anticipate and put it away.
Nice put back by Rosa. Now tied at 4.
Tipped there by Granum.
Tough.
And it caught New Bedford that time. So Anthony Granum has picked up his game here. 5-4 Durfee.
De Silva.
Off the blocker by Salih Tavares. Durfee playing it over safely. That's Connor Silva. On the outside, that was DeMello. New Bedford was there, but up into the rafters, and the ball came down too fast, too quickly for New Bedford to react. So point to Durfee.
The only one that had a play on that was Connor Silva, and he was the one that hit it last. So
couldn't do anything with it.
Oh.
Off the tape, it just went over from Shields. New Bedford is there, and then Shields can't get it over this time. Another point to Durfee. They have a 3-point lead, 7-4.
Yeah, Shields just put that one into the net.
This is Elias De Silva. Rosa on the outside. Durfee is there. DeMello played it over. And then Rosa into the net. A run here for Durfee. They lead at 8-4.
This is how they played in the first set. Let's see how New Bedford responds.
De Silva, nice serve. Salih Tavares.
Too long.
Well long.
And a timeout by...
Ben Caturli calling a timeout here early on. He doesn't want this set to just get away from his squad. Trailing by 5. Again, you go to a 5th set, Pete, anything can happen. It's a total toss-up at that point.
You know, you play till 15, you switch sides at 8s. You're right. It's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, and if you fall behind like this in set number 5, you're in real trouble.
So Coach Caturli probably talking to his squad saying, hey, let's get back to what we did in sets number 2 and number 3.
And even the strategy here to maybe freeze the setter, the server.
We've seen that a number of times. Let's see if we come back from this timeout and De Silva puts it into the net. We'll see if that works. DaCosta Teixeira getting a break. Number 10's on the bench right now. Didn't freeze the server.
Rosa, long. And I'm sure Ben is trying to guard against his squad, just saying, oh, well, this one is getting away from us. Don't worry about it. We have another set. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Tipped by Shields. And another point for Durfee, and Durfee's on a roll here. Ayala could not get there.
Leading by 7.
Elias De Silva's been on a service run. And then Salih Tavares again into the net with a kill attempt. Durfee really pouring it on here in set 4, leading at 12-4.
This will be something if the Whalers can come back from this.
Yeah, there's almost a point that you get to where it's a point of no return. Very hard to come back from a certain deficit. New Bedford finally, with Carter Barboza taking advantage of Durfee moving forward, put it into the far corner of the floor, came up with a point, stops a Durfee run. New Bedford down 12-5.
So we'll see Salih Tavares back to serve. See if the Whalers can get a run going here.
On the outside, there's the block that time from Carter Barboza.
Got help from Davon Shields.
12-6. And New Bedford sideline, their staff and players trying to pump up those on the floor here. Ayala over safely. And Then you saw DeMello try a trick shot. Laid it back over his head. No, it didn't work. Point to New Bedford.
So New Bedford has Barboza, Shields, and Rosa up front.
Ayala. Rosa off the blocker. Durfee trying to keep it alive. They do, but it is out. And Durfee is going to call a timeout.
Yeah, if you're Coach Brendan Kelly, you're not liking this. You had them down. You were leading by what? As much as 8, I think? And now they're back to within 4.
So 12-8 after a 12-4 lead. New Bedford on a service run here.
See Coach Kelly talking to his squad.
And he's calling that timeout because he knows we were in good shape here. We can't let them back into the set. So trying to just freeze New Bedford here with the timeout.
Getting some time on the bench has been number 10 for the Whalers, Dilson DaCosta Teixeira. So we'll see if he comes back in soon. He is most comfortable at the net. So we'll see if when the rotation would put him back there, if he re-enters the game.
12-8. Durfee leading it.
Both teams with 1 timeout left in this set.
Here is Salih Tavares still on the service line. And so often it happens. So often. And that's why they call it.
Brooklyn Rodrigues, number 12, comes in for the Whalers.
DeMello serving for Durfee. And that time into the net by Rosa. Ball stayed on their side of the floor. Point to Durfee. Oh no, they'll say.
Just made it over.
Point to New Bedford. 13-9, New Bedford trailing it.
Oh!
Ball rocketed. Oh, and Durfee keeps it alive.
Nice play.
Farnworth. Durfee hustling here. Oh, and then Farnworth put it into the net. Durfee really with some hustle plays there.
As you said, all over the floor.
Twice well off the playing area. The court itself, obviously you can extend out off the floor, off the line surface. New Bedford there. Farnworth went with a tip. Durfee again keeping it alive. That's just impressive work, but the ball is out. Great work there by Galvin to go way out of bounds, Pete, and then bring it back on the floor with control. 14-10. New Bedford down by 4.
DaCosta Teixeira is back in his comfortable spot at the net. Number 10.
Devon Shields serving for New Bedford.
Oh!
And that time it was Milfort. Found a way through DaCosta Teixeira.
Yeah, he made it through that front line.
A break there for New Bedford. Connor Silva with an overpass, and then Durfee just squandered a great opportunity there.
New Bedford making a substitution. That is Salih Tavares coming in for Rodrigues.
Nice serve there by Barboza. That's Salih Tavares over safely. Milford. And Salih Tavares could not handle it from Milford that time. 16-11, Durfee.
Durfee is not going to hand it to him. They're going to have to work for it if the Whalers want this game.
Tip there by DaCosta.
Boy, Durfee keeps it
Texera
alive.
could not put it away. Durfee's done an unreal job here in this set of keeping the ball alive. You're right, Pete. DaCosta Texera had a key strike there.
Ayala checks back in he replaces Farnworth. He goes back to serve.
Ronas Ayala. New Bedford down by 4. Milford. Here goes Durfee again, and they're going to keep it alive again.
Violation.
Point to New Bedford. 16-13, but it's been amazing how often they've gone off the floor to keep points alive. Granum, and New Bedford was there with Barboza. And the ball is good.
Durfee thought it might be long, but it was in.
16-14 New Bedford. Ronas Ayala. We hit that one too far. 17-14. New Bedford needs set 4 to win the match. Durfee needs it to stay alive. Middle of the floor.
Oh, into the net.
And DaCosta Texera into the net with the tip.
He went up. You thought he might have the kill, but he went with the tip, and that option didn't work.
Saw the blocker there, Pete. Maybe
changed his mind.
Changed his mind midstream. Kill on the outside by Nick Rosa. Officially, I have Rosa with 7 kills.
Yep.
This is Connor Silva. Nice serve by Silva. Durfee again roaming the floor.
Oh!
And Granum with a tip.
Silva just could not get to that to dig it out. 19-15.
Set to the outside. Rosa. He was blocked. And Durfee stepping up their block game. That time it was Cameron DeMello, pardon me.
Taking a page from the New Bedford book tonight.
20-15 Durfee. That's the Silva serving for the Hilltoppers.
Out.
And it's out. New Bedford keeping it relatively close, down by 4 here. They need a run, though. You can't exchange points here from 20-16 and hope to win. You need a run of 3 or 4 in a row. It's Salih Tavares on the service line. Rosa on the outside. New Bedford keeping it alive here. This is where you just play it over. Nicely done by Barboza. New Bedford is there. Barboza couldn't put it away. Tip. Silva was there. On the outside, Rosa. Off the Durfee blocker. That time it was off of Daniel Matuzik. New Bedford to within 3, 20-17.
We got some good game here.
The tension is mounting here with Salih Tavares serving. DeMello tried for the tip. Rosa on the outside with a hammer. Nick Rosa was set up perfectly by Connor Barboza.
His 9th kill of the night.
20-18, New Bedford down now by only 2. Salih Tavares. New Bedford will have a chance here. Overpass, but Whalers with the opportunity. Rosa threw it down on the outside.
Nice.
Oh, they're going to call a violation here, though, against Rosa, I believe.
Went over the net.
Nope. You can't catch it. You can throw it down, but that time more of a catching action than just
kind of carried it and then
threw it down.
Yeah.
Whalers here.
Trouble.
Keeping it alive is Connor Silva.
He's had a great game.
He has. Rosa. This is a key point. And DeMello was blocked at the net. That time it was Devon Shields. 21-19. Whalers within 2.
Here's a shot at that.
And that was Connor Silva with this unbelievable save.
He's been very busy. Oh.
And then New Bedford gives a point right back. And those are the killers. You just work so hard to come up with a point. Then you serve into the net.
But Connor Silva, let me focus on him for just a second here. He may not have big numbers on the score sheet, but he has really made a contribution in this third set.
Yep.
Fourth set.
As the libero doing his job. And Shields,
no.
Ball is out. New Bedford thinking there might have been a tip. No. It's 23-19. Durfee 2 points away from pushing it to a set number 5. On the outside, Farnworth. That time, New Bedford thought it was off the blocker.
He thought he had the point.
And they'll say no. Point. And Ben Caturli's going to call a timeout. Let's see if we can see that one again.
New Bedford thinking that...
they did get the timeout. Let's watch it again here, Pete. Didn't look like it. Again, we could look at it. Farnworth looked, he put his hands to his head as if it was out. Let's see here. Ooh,
no.
Close.
Yeah, I don't
Fingertips are right there. He's
Right
got to see if
there.
the ball does change its path.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Hard to tell. But it was very close.
So Durfee comes out. This is set point.
If we go to a set number 5, you play the set to 15.
Let's see if that changed the momentum at all. Out.
Serve was well long.
Whalers need a run here. Ryan Brody is going to come in for Devon Shields. Brody is in to serve, number 5.
We have not seen Brody today.
No.
This is his main role. Does a good job. And the ball is good. And Durfee wins set number 4 by a score of 25-20.
We've had close matches in all of the sets, close sets.
As you can see there on the scoreboard, Durfee in set number 1, 25-22. New Bedford in sets 2 and 3 by scores of 25-14 and 25-15 respectively. And then Durfee in set 4, 25-20.
I see the floor official having a coin toss with the teams.
For the side of the floor.
And they're going to stay where they are. Normally they switch, but after 4, we go back to a coin toss. And as Joe has said, we will play to 15. After 8 points, they will switch sides. Both teams will head into the school vacation break with no games scheduled for next week. The Whalers are back in action a week from Monday night, right back here at New Bedford High School. They will host another Southeast Conference team, the Brockton Boxers. Then on Wednesday, the 26th, they will go to Taunton to play the Taunton Tigers. The next night, Thursday, the 27th, they trumpet Quincy to play Quincy High School. Then on Saturday, the 29th, this is a makeup game. Well, makeup because it was postponed, originally scheduled for Good Friday. On Saturday, the 29th, they will host the Greater New Bedford Voc-Tech Bears in the first matchup of the city championship. And then the following Friday, they'll go to Voc to play the Bears at the Z. Walter Janiak Fieldhouse.
New Bedford already back on the floor. They'll be on the near side of the floor here to start off set number 5.
Very anxious to get this going, or what? Still a minute 12.
You can tell. Yep, they got right out there. Head coach Ben Caturli saying, hey, we're not going to overthink it, guys. Here's my lineup. Get out there on the floor.
So the lineup will be number 15, Devon Shields, number 18, Carter Barboza, number 9, Jensen Farnworth, number 10, Dilson DaCosta Teixeira. Who else is out there? Connor Sylvia is on the in the backcourt as well.
He'll replace Centeo, I believe. Libero starts off the floor and then comes in for the player they wish to substitute for.
And the one other player is Amir Salah Tavares, number 13. Farnworth cooled off a little bit in that fourth set. We'll see if he can reclaim the power he had in sets 2 and 3. The floor official
still looking at the lineup, and
he's approving the substitution now of
Silva checks in for
Shields.
And so New Bedford has their best lineup to start here on the floor with Carter Barboza serving and DaCosta Teixeira up front, and then unfortunately it's a service error. The one thing you didn't want, squander your best server and your best lineup. On the outside, and the kill by Salih Tavares. That time he put it through the blocker. 1 apiece. Every point so critical. Here's Ronas Ayala.
Another service error.
New Bedford is served 2 points away here to start set number 5.
And you remember I said that Coach Caturli said one of his goals this year was to cut down on the errors.
Nice block there by Durfee to keep it alive. That was Cameron DeMello. New Bedford again able to keep it alive here on a great effort by Salih Tavares. On the outside, the hammer that time from Nick Rosa. He was set up perfectly, drilled it.
Unofficially his 10th kill, and here it is. Gets it right past the blockers.
So New Bedford tied here at 2 apiece with Durfee, but they've given Durfee both their points with service errors. This time, Silva with a fine serve. Shields,
trouble,
and Durfee will not get this one. Whalers with their first lead in set number 5, 3-2. Connor Silva. Anthony Granham, it's out.
That was something we saw from Granham in the second set, I believe.
And Durfee's going to use an early timeout.
The only points they have are off New Bedford errors.
Yes, indeed, Pete.
So Brendan Kelly wants to get this group together.
And New Bedford has been victimized by timeouts a couple of times here tonight, where when they've come back from the timeout, they've had a service error. So need to really concentrate here and just say, hey, you know what? I got to get it over the net. If it's a conservative play, so be it. Make Durfee earn a point. Don't give them one.
Right.
Timeouts are a minute in length. New Bedford back on the floor with 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Durfee back out there as well. It's Connor Silva. He's had a fine match.
He really has. You may not see it in points, but he really has made a contribution.
Fine serve there by Silva. New Bedford, the blockers there. Silva with a bump here, and Ayala over. Granum hammered it out. Struck it well, but he's gone long on several of his kill attempts once New Bedford's blockers started getting in position. 5-2 New Bedford. Silva, and it's out. It was close.
He can't believe it.
And you saw Ben Caturli hold up his fingers like just an inch. 5-3 New Bedford. De Silva serving for Durfee.
And Durfee still.
Rosa into the net.
Durfee still has only scored on New Bedford errors.
All 4 points here for Durfee on New Bedford mistakes. On the outside, Rosa. This time down the line. They'll say it's good. So New Bedford stopping a bit of a Durfee run, leading it now 6-4. Here's Salih Tavares. Amir Salih Tavares. New Bedford's Ayala was there. Rosa on the outside.
Too much.
Way out. And again, when you're close enough to the net, you can hit downhill. When you're farther away, you can't. So your margin for error is greatly reduced, or greatly increased, I should say. That's DeMello serving, and it's a service ace for Cameron DeMello. We're tied at 6.
2 more points and they'll switch sides.
And into the net, DeRosa. Nick Rosa into the net, giving the point to Durfee. It's 7-6 Durfee in set number 5. That means we're 2 sets apiece. First one to 15 to win by 2, to lead by 2 wins. I did notice, Pete, in the junior varsity match, it went to a 3rd set. So for junior varsity, they only play 3 sets. But in the 3rd set, they play to 15, and they didn't switch sides. So I do remember that when there was obviously concerns coming back from COVID, they stopped switching sides. So we'll have to see.
Okay.
It's possible that they don't switch sides, but prior to COVID, they were always switching sides at 8. Let's see what happens here with the varsity.
And I point out once again, Durfee has 7 points. All of those points are on New Bedford errors. Either a service error, or a ball that was hit that went out of bounds, or a ball that went into the net. They have not scored a point off a kill yet.
Here's DeMello. And Shields couldn't put it away. That's DeMello. And Durfee with the 8-6 lead, and they are going to switch sides. So maybe they didn't do it at junior varsity for whatever reason, but the
maybe
varsity,
timing.
Yeah, they are changing sides. But the first year after COVID, I know they did not switch sides. And in fact, if I remember correctly, they might not have switched sides at all throughout the entire match. They just stayed on their respective bench. and played on that side of the floor.
Richie Gomes, the head coach at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech, saying last night that this was the first real season they had without COVID affecting them in any way. Summer leagues being able to play.
Rosa that time with the kill as it went off a block. So New Bedford back to within one, trailing at 8-7. Nick Rosa to the service line. Brendan Kelly coaching from the sideline. That time the overpass from Matuzik, and New Bedford was there at the net to quickly take advantage.
Farnworth
tied at 8. Good serve by Rosa again. New Bedford's blockers there, but no one reacted to the ball once it had come off the hands of the blocker. It was Avalon Lima with a kill. He's been fairly quiet here.
Yeah,
that time struck it well.
Right in between two New Bedford players, and no one was assertive.
On the outside, Farnworth. And that one was long. 10-8, Durfee.
Again, we only played at 15.
Only playing till 15, Pete, so it's a critical point in the match. Farnworth, that time he went over the blocker with the tip. Desperately needed there. Essentially 10-8 is like 20-18. You're right on the precipice of the end of the match. So 10-9 now, you're playing to 15. And that time on the outside, Durfee and Milford. Christopher Milford.
He's been involved in this game right from the beginning.
With a push shot.
Had a very strong first set. Then New Bedford seemed to find an answer, but he scores here.
That's Cameron DeMello serving. Milford. New Bedford with a chance here. The tip. Durfee is there. On the outside, that time it was Milford into the net. Point to New Bedford. 11-10. And here's New Bedford's best rotation with Salih Tavares and DaCosta Texera on the front line and Barboza serving. New Bedford is there. Farnworth. It went into the blocker and then he came away with the kill. Durfee not able to handle it. Another kill for Jensen Farnworth.
Number 12 on the night.
Tied at 11. Barboza serving. Knuckle serve. Ball really knuckling there well. Oh, and then Milford got it off of Tavares. Salih Tavares, who kind of was just caught in no man's land. The ball was not struck hard enough for him to block it. It just hit his hands and fell on his side of the floor. Salih Tavares was blocked there. There's Milford. New Bedford is there. Need to get it over here. Oh, what a block there by Anthony Granum, who anticipated the cross-court play. New Bedford's going to call a timeout.
Granum has had his issues in this game, being a little too strong on some of his shots, but he anticipated that one. Like you said, he was right there.
He knew New Bedford had to play it there and go cross court. Salih Tavares, watch here, he's way off the floor. He has to go cross court. Look at Granum just anticipate.
Timed that perfectly.
That was a big play by Anthony Granum, giving Durfee the 2-point lead at 13-11. Obviously, a critical point here for New Bedford.
And we are coming up on almost 2 hours of volleyball.
Close. 5 minutes away from that. 13-11 Durfee. Durfee with the serve. Jack Galvin on the service line. Obviously, New Bedford needs this point. And middle of the floor, they got it to DaCosta Texera, and he put it away. 13-12. Clutch play there by DaCosta Texera. Oh, and what a return there. Daniel Matuzik. Durfee here now with 2 set and match points. Durfee goes to the bench for Braden Bartley. He's been a designated server here for them the last couple of sets. And that looks like it's long, and it is. 1 set and match point averted. Now New Bedford has Connor Silva on the service line. Durfee with another set and match point.
How important is this serve?
Silva, fine serve. New Bedford is there. Oh, and that's it.
Oh, no.
On a violation. Uh-oh, now the official is saying no. No, they're going to say it's New Bedford's point. The official pointed to the other side of the floor, to New Bedford's side initially. Now he's saying it's a violation against Durfee. And Brendan Kelly calls a timeout. We have to see that on replay.
I don't know if we have that last play, but the official first saying the point went to Durfee.
And Durfee celebrated. Watch here. The player into the net for Durfee. That apparently is the call. I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
That was the mistake when the referee pointed left, and that's it.
No,
wait a minute.
Now you
wait
see that no, no, no. And then he's going to say point to New Bedford. Player into the net, it looks like. Let's see if we can go back and see toward the end of that point.
Did a player in red go into the net?
It looks like the near side of the floor here. Watch when New Bedford's playing it. We won't have time because we have to get back to the live action. We are tied at 14. Talk about back from the dead. We just celebrated Easter. And now New Bedford back from the dead, but a service error by Connor Silva. Serving it long.
You have to win by 2.
This is Elias Da Silva for Durfee. 15-14 Durfee. New Bedford is there. And off the tape, off the hands, and the kill credited to Nick Rosa.
One of the Durfee players
slammed the ball down. We've not seen any yellow cards from the official. Looks like he might have pulled a yellow card out there, was thinking about it. It's 15 apiece.
Salih Tavares to serve. Wow.
Crazy ending here. Salih Tavares. Durfee was there on the outside. New Bedford keeping it alive. That's Da Silva. To the outside again, Durfee keeping it alive. Great diving play there by Jack Galvin for Durfee. Again, everyone here extra careful on this point. Blocked by New Bedford. And then Rosa could not put it away. Again, Galvin has made a couple of great plays here. Rosa, another dive by Galvin, and the point to New Bedford.
We are seeing some great volleyball.
16-15. New Bedford now with a set and match point. Salih Tavares. DeMello was denied at the net, keeps it alive. New Bedford was there. And DeRosa! Nick DeRosa puts it away for New Bedford, and the Whalers win in 5 sets. Set number 5, 17-15. The Whalers back literally from the dead. It looked like the match was over in favor of Durfee. And I don't know if we have the replay still queued up, if we can go back to it. But a point that initially appeared to be going to Durfee, and it would have decided the set and won the match,
was waved off.
And it ended up being a point that New Bedford earned. Let's see if we have it here.
What we think happens is we think a player in red goes into the net.
Near side of the floor. Watch here. Right there, but prior to that, not there yet, not yet. Now watch here as this point continues. Again, I guess that was the point when he said someone was into the net. I don't know if the call came from the floor official or was just an incorrect call initially as far as the side of the floor he pointed to from the chair umpire. But the point ended up going to New Bedford, and New Bedford ends up winning in 5 sets. And there you see head coach Ben Caturli with his squad and a big smile on his face.
They are 4-2 now and 1-0 in the conference. Unofficially, we have Jensen Farnworth and Nick Rosa, both with 12 kills on the night. It was also a great night for Dilson DaCosta Teixeira, and we cannot say enough about the play of the libero, Connor Silva, who just was solid at the end of the game.
Played extremely well in the final 3 sets. Key plays throughout that stretch by Silva, along with Dilson DaCosta Teixeira, and of course the 2 other players that Pete mentioned. Fine performances from Jensen Farnworth, and outstanding work as well from Amir, Salih Tavares, and Nick Rosa. Well, that'll do it from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium on the campus of New Bedford High School. Let's go over the scores one final time. In set number 1, it was Durfee 25-22 over New Bedford. Set 2, it was New Bedford in control throughout, 25-14. Set number 3, more of the same for New Bedford, 25-15. Set number 4, Durfee came back and won it 25-20. And then set number 5, New Bedford taking it 17-15 to win the match and improve their record to 4-2. Durfee drops to 2-4. That'll do it from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium on the campus of New Bedford High School. For Pete Braley and all of our staff here at the New Bedford Cable Network, I'm Joe Cabral. Have a good night, everyone.